Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are a returning subscriber, I think we've gotten to the point where I can finally say that because the numbers are growing. We're not yet at 50, but we're close. So if you are a returning subscriber, welcome. And if you are a new subscriber, welcome, welcome, welcome. Honey, it's gonna be so interesting. It's interesting even now, but it's gonna bang even harder as time progresses. So stick around. Just for your benefit, because this is the third video and we've been talking about a lot of things from the start, I think it would be beneficial to you to just take a tour, watch the first video, watch my story time, just so you can familiarize yourself with what's going on, and just so you can get to know me a little bit better in terms of what we're speaking about here and what's actually going on, what's the tea, you know? Before I begin, I just wanted to say thank you guys so much. Recently, I think last week on my Instagram, I decided to share the link to my YouTube channel and just talk about my channel and what I'm doing here. And I've been met with so much love. My DMs were flooded with so much love and support and warmth and affirmation. And guys, it was a bit overwhelming, but in a good way, because I mean, it was just the outflow of love was just so much. I could feel the love, and I didn't expect to get so much love and to receive so many messages, simply because this channel is not like the regular YouTube content that you guys are used to, in terms of like people vlogging and talking about like their lives and lifestyle content and get ready with me guys, spend a day with me, blah 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 blah. It's not like that. It's like we're talking about, you know, like women's health, and it's like not very popular, and it's very nuanced, you know what I mean? And so I'm so grateful for what I've been met with in my DMs, the people who decided to subscribe to my channel, those who've been sharing the links to my channel across like WhatsApp and Instagram. I really appreciate that, guys. It feels so amazing to know that you guys support me and you see my vision, you know what I'm doing, you see how much this means to me, and it translates to the support that I've been getting back. So I really appreciate that. The reason why I delayed in sharing my YouTube channel on Instagram, putting the link on my bio and stuff, is simply because this is a really personal project to me. It's big, it means so much to me, and I didn't want to have people commit to a channel that wouldn't last that long, because I know when you start such things that are very personal to you, because like I said, I'm living through endometriosis, I'm living with it, it's very easy to become overwhelmed and to take a step back and to like delete the channel or to take a break from it, or just because of how overwhelming it can get, because you don't really know what you're gonna be met with. You don't really know how people are gonna take to your content, especially when you put yourself, like your life on the line like that. And so I wanted to give myself the space, good, in case I change my mind about the channel, or I just feel like, damn, this is a lot, I can just delete it in peace and just walk away. And so I've made the commitment by sharing it on Instagram, because I know people are there with me, and so it wouldn't be fair to just disappear on them. It would be easier to do that if they didn't know about the channel. So it's like me committing myself, or holding myself more accountable. And another thing, it's been brought to my attention that I haven't been including disclaimers in these past videos that I've been making, and it's because I don't know, I sort of I sometimes don't realize the magnitude of what I'm doing, or the magnitude of the types of things that I'm talking about, simply because these are my personal experiences, and for me it's like a no-brainer. It's not that big of a deal, because I mean if you're going through something every single day, talking about it wouldn't have the same effect on you as opposed to someone who has just heard about what you're talking about, or someone who's just come to the party, basically. So just a disclaimer, guys, going forward, we're talking about the female body. Anything related to the female body is gonna be hectic, and it was my mistake in not realizing how hectic it would be. And so the conversation shifts to reproduction, it shifts to mental health, it could even shift to relationships or whatever. And so within these spaces, these intimate conversations, people will be triggered. Certain uncomfortable things will be discussed. So just a disclaimer, good guys, we're talking about real things, sensitive things, emotional things. And so when you come on and watch these videos, just have that in mind, because I don't know how far these videos go. I plan the content, but once I start talking and remembering certain things and mentioning other things, I don't know what's going on in your mind. So just a disclaimer for that. But before I start crying, because like I said, I've been receiving so much love, and I'm still receiving so much love in my personal spaces. My friends have been amazing. The other day, was it yesterday, I was talking to one of my friends. So remember in the last video I spoke about the different Instagram pages that I follow that are like related to like endometriosis content, and I saw their name pop up, like the mutual accounts that follow that specific account, and I saw their name pop up, and I texted them. I was like, since when do you follow, what was it, endometriosis facts? That's the name of the Instagram account. And they were like, no, I'm doing this in solidarity of you, because I want to know how I can help. I want to know how I can be of service to you as a friend, because friendship is beyond just like laughing and going out and having a good time. It's beyond those moments. Friendship has moments of sadness, of connection, of vulnerability, and it meant so much to me that my friend can recognize that there are certain times when I will need them and they won't know what to do, and the best thing is to go out there, get educated, and find out ways to be there and to help. And so also that's why I created the channel, so that those of you who don't have endometriosis but could know someone potentially who has the condition can be able to show up for your friends, your loved ones, your partners in that exact way. So guys, let's get into the video. Today we're talking about flares. Now, those who suffer from endometriosis know what a flare is. You may not have the vocabulary for what that is, because it's not widely called a flare. I mean, if you've been doing your research and you talk to your gynae, that's when they use these kinds of words. But if you haven't been inside spaces, you would know the experience, but you wouldn't know the word, right? So a flare is heightened pain or intensified pain. So when you have endometriosis, you experience pain constantly in your everyday life. That's just a standard. It's your reality, unfortunately. But then a flare occurs when the pain that you're used to intensifies. It becomes worse than what it normally is, right? So on a pain level, it could move from a 4 or a 5 to like an 8. And you would think that that's happening out of nowhere, but there are triggers to flares. So once you know what a flare is, you'd be able to identify the moments in which they occur, right? So that's what a flare is. It occurs with various conditions, but with endometriosis, it's more noticeable and it's more harrowing because it's pain on top of pain. So you can just imagine what kind of a nightmare that is. And so there are triggers to endometriosis, and I'll just be reading from my notebook a few of them. So flare triggers are certain exercises, other illnesses, physical injury, stress, sexual activity, certain phases of your cycle, certain foods and beverages, and wearing tight clothing. Let the church say amen. I'll just be touching on those that I've experienced in terms of the triggers, those that I can point to and be like, actually, this flare happened because of this specific trigger. Now, I just want to say, flares are not, you can't really pinpoint how long they last. It depends from person to person. Usually my flares don't last that long, because immediately when I start to feel them, I take necessary, not precaution because they're there, but I do what needs to be done. So I take my medication, and I try to make myself comfortable. So I take my medication, which is a painkiller or 2. I take 2, I don't take 1 anymore. And then I fill up my hot water bottle if I'm in the position to do that. So if the flare happens at school, the hot water bottle situation is not happening. So I take a painkiller and just go about my day. But if I'm at home, I take the painkiller and I couple it with a suppository. Now, so guys, I'm not going to explain what a suppository is. You have not been sick if you don't know what a suppository is. So for those of you who don't know, a suppository you don't take it orally. You take it, it goes in your behind. Yeah. So I take those 2 just to counter the effect of the flare, because flares are quite, yes, they are intense. And then I'd fill up my hot water bottle. That's like I said, if I'm at home, be comfortable, put that against my abdomen, we're good to go. And then that usually helps. So I could take a nap while I wait for the painkillers to do their thing. But if you have the luxury of being at home or being in a space where you can be comfortable, you can do more to work on the flare, to not work on it, but you can do more to deal with the flare, basically, so let's start with certain exercises. Was it certain exercises or certain activities? Certain exercises. Okay, so I used to be a gym rat. I was a gym bunny in the past years. I cancelled my membership recently at the gym. I haven't been at the gym since February of this year. And that's just because with me, my body doesn't respond well to intense exercises. And I didn't know that because I didn't know what a flare was, and I didn't know that certain exercises trigger it. And for me, those exercises are like intense. I'd go to the gym and I want to pick up those heavy weights and do lunges. I want to do squats. I want to do sumo squats. I do the most when I'm at the gym because I feel like I'm not paying all that money to just do simple things. So I'm that girl. It's squats, it's lunges, I'm jumping up and down. I'm just doing the most. Think of the most hectic exercises that you know of, right? Of course, within moderation. I'm not trying to kill myself. And every single time I'd be done with a session, I'd be in pain. Never not gonna know, man. This happens often, and it's especially after an intense workout. Sometimes, if it's leg day, you don't really do the most. On days when you incorporate maybe everything, a little bit of everything, or you focus on, I don't know, your arms, it wouldn't be as intense. But if you do things like you're working on your glutes and your legs and stuff like that, you're doing a lot, and so your body is actively working, and so that would trigger my flares. And I'd go home, I'd have to drive home in pain. I don't know what's going on, my legs hurt, and I'd be bored, because that's the end of that. Sometimes I'd have to cut a workout short because I'd have to cut a workout session short because my body can't be with me, can't do that with me anymore, until I realized that it was certain exercises that were triggering the flares, right? So I spoke to my gynae and she was like, girl, shumavona, you're not supposed to be doing the most. You're not in a position where you can do that. You don't have the luxury to be lifting all those weights and jumping up and down, and now you're sweating because you're working. You can't do that. So you'd rather stick to stretches, yoga really helps with just quietening down the endometriosis flares, just like, because your body is so it's not, because with endometriosis your body is always working, and so you're just trying to center it, bring yourself back to yourself. And so I was like, never, I won't go to the gym and pay all that money to do stretches. I can stretch in my room, I can stretch at home, and then so that's when I saw good and know it's a waste of money to have this continued subscription membership. And the gym people don't care. If you miss a month, they still want their money. And I was missing like weeks at one go because I was just like, my body can't do this. Also, Pella, I'm not always physically in a position to go to the gym, so that's when I'd also be missing out on sessions, or I didn't fully recover from the other day because the flare interrupted me and stuff like that. So certain exercises will cause you flares. So just bear that in mind. Take note of that when you're going to the gym and you're trying to be fit and hot girl summering all over us. Just bear that in mind. The second one is certain foods and beverages. I mentioned in my last video that I cut red meat, beef, out of my diet because it doesn't do what it needs to do for my body. It's not something that English, guys, it's not something that's good for me. Yeah, it's not good for my body. So what happens is because red meat is very hard. Think of pork ribs versus beef ribs, right? They don't have the same texture. One is harder than the other, and that's the same when you're digesting it. So beef is very hard. It's like beef is hard. Think of beef is just hard, and so when you eat it, it takes your system, your stomach, a little more effort than it would if you were eating chicken or pork to break down the beef that you're eating. And so as it's doing that, as it's struggling to break down, it aggravates the inflammation around your uterus and stuff like that. and the related areas. So when it aggravates that, that's what causes a flare. That's what triggers the flares. So you find yourself in pain after eating a lot of beef, or even if it's not even a lot. It could just be like a meal. You could just have like a plate of rice and beef stew, and then after that you inhale. This reminds me of a time. So last week I was at a writing retreat. I was away from home for a week, and they were really feeding us. Hey, they were really feeding us, catering to our needs. Yo, wow, happy times. Anyway, and then so they give you a menu and you choose what you'd like to have. For breakfast is a buffet, so lunch, that's when you choose. Dinner's a buffet. And so I had, in the afternoon, I had steak. I had a steak and mash or something like that, but it was a steak. It was really good. Ooh. And then I was fine. Okay, in the evening I had beef. I had chicken because I was like, no, because I was trying to balance it out because I know that red meat is not good for me. I was like, okay, let me not have beef. Let me have beef, and then in the evening I'll have chicken, just to confuse my body so that the flares don't attack me. And it's not ideal to be having flares in such an environment where we're trying to work and get stuff done, you know? In the evening I had chicken. And then the person sitting next to me, one of my friends, was having beef. And then yo Ninavela being a foodie, yo. And then I was like, let me just have a little bit of beef just to taste it. So I finished the chicken and whatever, and then I had rice and beef, and it was nice. Yeah. Little did I know that I would pay for it a couple hours later. And then fast forward to the evening, to later in the evening when we were all asleep at night. And then I'm sleeping. Usually my flares wake me up. So I'd have a flare in the afternoon, not a big deal. But when they wake you up, when you're sleeping and they wake you up, that's when it becomes more hectic. And then, okay, I'm sleeping. It was around, I went to bed at 12 because when you're around peers and stuff like that, there's no way you're sleeping at 8. We speak, we talk, we do whatever. Okay, Shuma, speak and talk is one thing. We speak, we have fun, we're relating, we're talking about a bunch of things. I mean, you know, man. Okay, and so that's why we slept so late. Then so I went to bed at 12 midnight, and then if I'm at 3, my body wakes me up. I'm in pain. So usually for me, when I get a flare in the middle of the night, my body will just wake up. I feel uncomfortable. I can feel the pain, so I negotiate with myself. Good, okay, are we getting up and dealing with this, or are we gonna try and soldier on and just try and fall asleep and just ignore it? Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. On that day I couldn't, and so I had to get up. Because I know that it's a flare and I know what to do, I was able to help myself. It's very beneficial for you to know how your body works and what triggers your flares, because of all the things that I mentioned in that list of possible triggers, not all of them are going to trigger you. So it's important to know which things are going to trigger you. If you can avoid them, do. But if you can't, if you're in a position where you can't avoid them, or a papa like me, you know how to deal with that. And so I got up. We were staying at a hotel, so they always have kettles in rooms. I boiled water. I had traveled with my hot water bottle because I know my life. I don't want to be inconvenienced. I filled my hot water bottle. I took 2 painkillers because I always travel with my painkillers. The still pains, they really work. And then I took the painkillers while I was waiting for them to get integrated into my system. The water was boiling, filled my hot water bottle, got into bed. It was nice. I think 30 minutes later, the flare was gone because of the painkillers, and the hot water bottle had aided in that. So I just want to emphasize the importance of this. If you have endometriosis, study your body. Know what works for you, know what doesn't. For me, red meat is a no-no, clearly. For other people, it's fine. Certain exercises are no for me. For other people, you can go and do the most, but it's not really likely, you know. So just study your body, know what works, know what doesn't, and know how to help yourself. My mom was very worried when I left. Whenever I leave home for an extended period of time, my mom is always like, what happens if you are in pain and I can't be there to help you? And so what would put her at ease is the knowledge that Shuma knows what she's doing. She knows what's going on. If she has a flare, she knows how to take care of herself. So for me, it was the biggest hug I could give myself, knowing that I can get up, do what needs to be done, sort myself out. I didn't even waste that much time and go back to sleep. So that's how flares work. Unfortunately, it's not always the triggers that you would expect that could cause a flare. Sometimes the flares just happen on their own. You could be at school, you could be at work, you could be on your way home, commuting or whatever, and the flares will just come out of nowhere. So in such a position, do what you can. If it's a situation where you are woken up from sleep, you can do more, as opposed to if the flare happens when you are at an event or something like that, right? So I'm just gonna read something that's quite short, and then we will expound, is that the word, on that. Living with chronic pain at an age where everyone thinks you should be healthy and whole is such a mindfuck, because if I'm not visibly in pain or showing I'm struggling, then people disregard it. Invisible illnesses and the people living with them deserve respect. 100%. 100%. Endometriosis is an invisible illness, and so if the flare happens, I know what's going on, but no one else does unless if I explain it. And when I had that flare, I was alone. If I had, because I was alone, there was no judgment, people trying to understand what's going on or me having to explain. But if you're not alone and you're in the midst of people, just try and make sure that you surround yourself with people who are supportive. I had another flare the next day while we were having lunch, and I wasn't okay. And the people who knew, because everyone there knows about my YouTube channel, I don't think everyone knew that I had endometriosis, but they knew that I had a channel about endometriosis. And so it's as easy as saying, I'm not okay, I'm having a flare. If you are aware of the vocabulary, you're able to advocate for yourself and you're able to explain things very simply, as opposed to, oh no, I'm in pain. Oh, where's the pain? Oh, it's in my abdomen. Oh, it's in my pelvis. That's a long story. So to cut it short, just be like, I'm having a flare. Do what needs to be done. The people who are around you who are offering support will be there to be there for you. They'll be able to be there for you. They'll be able to support you in ways in which you would have prescribed, or ways in which make sense to them. So that's why it's important to understand, know the words, learn the vocabulary, learn your body. Honey, it will help you, it will save you from so much over explanation. And also, if you would go to a doctor and you get there and say, no, I've been having a flare, a guy near me, I've been having a flare every single day for the past week. It sounds as though you know what you're talking about. The person, of course, medical personnel gaslight and they negate your experiences. But with the knowledge that you have, the vocabulary that you have, you'll be able to stand firm and be like, no, it's not period pains. It's not whatever you think it is. It's a flare. This flare is associated with whatever. Can I get a stronger painkiller? Can I get a stronger drug for in the form of treatment or things of that sort? So yeah, the flares really, for me, they happen a lot, they happen often, and they don't catch me by surprise because I know what's going on. Another trigger is stress. I am a full-time student. You could also be a full-time student, or you could be working and studying. I'm also working on the side, so I'm gonna be in so many situations that stress me. This is why last year, when I was writing my final exams, my period would not stop. It would be for 2 weeks, and then it would stop, and then another 2 weeks, because I was under a lot of stress. So try by all means to limit the amount of things that will stress you. You can't control how much school stresses you, but you can stay on top of things to give yourself a window period of resting. So another thing, when you have endometriosis, it is in your best interest to manage your time well. If you know you have a deadline that's coming up, you won't be in pain every single day, obviously. Or if you're in pain every single day, the levels of pain and intensity are not the same. So let's say my assignment is due on Friday, and on Monday I don't have pain. Maximize on those moments when you don't have that much pain to deal with, when you're not experiencing excruciating pain, and you can be able to live and you can do things and you can be productive. Maximize on that. That's when your productivity should thrive, because you don't know, you just never know. Tomorrow you could be pinned down on your bed, paralyzed in pain, not knowing what to do. If that happens, you can't be productive, you can't get things done. So just try and stay on top of things, just to make your life a little bit easier. You can't control the things that stress you, but you can, you can mitigate that if you can't control the things that stress you, but you can make your life easier in such a way that you have less things that stress you, or things don't stress you to the degree that they usually would if you were not prepared. So if you're a student, try working ahead with those deadlines. If you're working and there's a task that needs to be done and you have a deadline, try working, closer, not too close to the deadline, but try doing things early and maximizing on that. There are people in your life that are stressing you. Simple. There's no way I'm not gonna deal with endometriosis in my daily life. There's no way. Also, weigh your options. Who's stressing you? And why is this person stressing you? What? Oh, in terms of your hierarchy, of the hierarchy of the people in your life, where does this person fall? If they're not that important, bro, just because honestly, you are dealing with a lot. Your body is constantly attacking you. You are failing to live your best life on some days. You cannot allow people to add on to what you're going through, right? So it's certain exercises, it's stress, certain food and beverages. I'm gonna make a separate video where I just break down the kinds of things that you are not supposed to eat as someone with endometriosis, because that will trigger a lot of your flarings. Not your flarings, that will trigger a lot of your flare-ups. So just try and avoid that. And I'll also talk about beverages. An example of that is alcohol. And am I missing something? Certain phases of your cycle. I haven't spoken about that because like I said, my cycle has never been regular, and I'm currently taking treatment for endometriosis, and so I don't have a cycle. My period stopped when I started taking the treatment, so I can't speak about that. But now, as you're observing your body and the way in which it's working, you'll be able to see, good, okay, maybe on day 1 of my cycle the pain is intense, sort yourself out. On day 7 or whatever, it's not as hectic. Then you are able to work accordingly within that knowledge. What else? I can't talk about all of them in this video because it's going to be super, super long. But like I said, as we make more videos, you will find these things popping up and you can relate them to the prior videos and things that I've said before, things that I'm saying in the videos that you're watching. Wearing tight clothing. This is the last one. Just be careful what you wear. I like to look snatched, but also don't do that to the detriment of your own health. If I want to put a skinny jean, every time you're in jeans, you are in pain. Wear them, but don't overwear them. You can wear other things. You have other options. So now when it comes to your fashion sense, just play around with things so you have options. You can't always be wearing skinny jeans, obvious, because what is that? You can have a larger wardrobe in terms of options and choices if you played around more with your fashion sense and your style and whatever. So look snatched, but also take care of your body, take care of yourself, look out for you, because no one else is going to look out for you. And also, I'm not sitting here speaking from a place of judgment where I know all the things related to endometriosis and I'm like, no, you're doing this wrong. No, this is something that I'm also learning. This is something that I've also had to learn and to deal with. I'm also struggling with a few things. Like I said, I haven't completely cut red meat out of my diet because, number one, it's nice. It tastes amazing. But I can't. I'm also human. There are things that I enjoy. If I'm going out with a friend and she wants to go to a steakhouse, I'm going to make sure that, okay, during the week, I don't have beef so that I can have that beef, that amazing juicy steak on a Saturday. If I'm going out with a friend and the waiter recommends the steak, I'm going to have it. But also, I'm working in terms of my diet and the things that I'm eating. I'm working in a way that's balanced so that I'm able to support myself. And I'm not I'm trying not to swear a lot on this channel, but I'm not betraying myself, essentially. So yeah, that's the end of the video, guys. Thank you for watching. If you've stayed up until this point and you haven't subscribed, come on, please give this video a thumbs up. If you have questions in the comment section, please leave them down in the comment section below. If you have video suggestions, please do that. I really engage with people on my Instagram, so if you're not following me on Instagram, honey, do the right thing and fast. So if you have whatever it is that you want to say to me, you can say that in the comment section below, or we can connect on Instagram. My handle is in the description box. And yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for staying up until this point. I will see you in the next video. Be kind to yourself, honey. Treat yourself like a queen. Put yourself first. Treat yourself like someone you love. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.